Wait, did that just happen? Did 50 Cent really just drag T.I. across social media, accusing the trap legend of being bankrupted by his own son? And not just any son, but KingHarris, the 21-year-old heir to the Harris empire who apparently turned daddy's pockets into a personal ATM. I mean, come on, $100,000? From father to son. In one clip. The internet went absolutely ballistic, memes were born within minutes, and every single celebrity gossip page exploded like Times Square on New Year's Eve. But here's the kicker. Is it really about the money, or is 50 Cent just sharpening his trolling skills on the world's biggest stage? We're talking about two hip-hop titans, a decades-long feud, and now a full-blown family drama that includes social media receipts, diss tracks, and memes that are literally going viral faster than any TikTok dance craze you've ever seen. So buckle up, because we're about to unpack every jaw-dropping, tea-spilling detail, from secret investment deals and alleged financial missteps to explosive Instagram posts and social media clapbacks that are leaving fans asking one thing: is Toe really broke, or just the latest victim of 50 Cent's trolling empire? You won't believe the chaos that's about to unfold. It quickly became clear that this wasn't just another celebrity squabble, it was a full-blown social media inferno, and the stakes were higher than anyone expected. 50 Cent's trolling had tapped directly into T.I.'s past financial vulnerabilities, and now the public was hungry for more drama, speculation, and, of course, memes. What started as a single $100,000 investment request from KingHarris had ballooned into a narrative that suggested T.I. was teetering on the edge of financial collapse, all while the younger Harris allegedly pilfered the family fortune. Industry insiders, speaking on the condition of anonymity, began dropping what appeared to be leaks about T.I.'s supposed money mismanagement. One source, whom we'll call Insider Alpha, claimed King approached his father with a pitch deck that included a streetwear brand, a digital media startup, and even a small music venture. The amount requested, $100K, wasn't a handout, it was an investment. But the public only saw, son asking dad for six figures. That's all 50 Cent needed. Insider Alpha added that these proposals had been meticulously reviewed by T.I., who evaluated risk, projected returns, and market potential, but no one outside the family wanted to see nuance. Social media reacted explosively. Within hours, hashtags like #KingBankruptDaddy, #50C exposes T.I., and #TrapKingTrouble were trending across Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Memes multiplied at a pace that made the stock market look slow. KingHarris photoshopped as an ATM machine, animated cash flowing from T.I.'s mansion, and exaggerated charts showing Daddy's dwindling fortune. You could almost hear the social media algorithms whispering, engagement spikes incoming. Of course, 50 Cent leveraged every ounce of this frenzy. He timed Instagram posts to coincide with viral news coverage, each caption dripping with sarcasm, "When your kid's budget is bigger than your allowance." Another post included a clip of Tiny Harris performing years ago, subtly suggesting that T.I.'s empire was built on past glories while his own children were supposedly draining him. These posts weren't random. They were strategic, carefully crafted content bombs, designed to provoke outrage, laughs, and shares. Meanwhile, KingHarris wasn't staying silent. He went on Instagram Live, responded to memes, and dropped diss tracks targeting 50 Cent with ruthless precision. One track, leaked to online fan forums, reportedly referenced 50 Cent's 2000 shooting, past family disputes, and failed romantic relationships, all while branding him as a keyboard warrior hiding behind social media fame. These tracks were personal, biting, and intentionally provocative, creating a digital tug-of-war where every public move from either side generated more content, more attention, and more chaos. Anonymous leaks also started floating around in online forums. One allegedly insider report claimed that T.I. had been juggling millions in IRS debts, private ventures, and legal fees over the past decade, making him vulnerable to a six-figure request from his own son. The reality: T.I.'s finances were far from precarious, but in the social media ecosystem, perception often outweighs truth. Every leaked rumor, real or fabricated, became ammunition for 50 Cent's narrative. The mighty T.I., humbled by his own family. Media outlets, hungry for clicks, amplified these stories with headlines like, "Is T.I. broke because of his own son?" 50 Cent exposes KingHarris draining daddy's fortune. Atlanta trap king bankrolled by his kids. Even platforms like TikTok and Instagram saw young fans remix the narrative into parodies. KingHarris as the ultimate rich kid, T.I. as a cautionary tale, and 50 Cent as the puppet master orchestrating chaos. Within hours, every joke, every exaggeration, and every snippet of misinformation had cemented itself into viral culture, leaving nuance and context in the dust. Adding to the fire, more dramatic insider details began circulating. Alleged investment breakdowns: $50,000 into streetwear collabs, $30,000 into digital content production, and $20,000 into King's music label experiments. Speculation on financial strain. Some sources claimed that if King's requests continued annually, T.I.'s liquid assets could theoretically dwindle dangerously fast. Strategic trolling analysis. 50 Cent reportedly used these reports to frame T.I. as a father being exploited in public, while simultaneously promoting his own ventures and upcoming projects. The public loved it. Social media reactions ranged from outrage to hilarity. "Imagine going bankrupt because your kid wants a startup," wrote one TikTok creator, overlaid with clips of King flexing online. Another Instagram thread joked, 50 Cent's new title, Family Financial Analyst. Even celebrity commentators joined the conversation, some fueling the drama with wild speculation, others poking fun at the absurdity. Tiny Harris, meanwhile, tried to calm the storm. In interviews, she praised her sons for taking initiative and clarified that these were investments, not handouts. "They are learning how to build their future, not just spending money," she said. But her moderation only added fuel to 50 Cent's trolling engine. Every clarification, every defensive statement, became new material to mock, dissect, and mimify. The paradox was clear. Responding gave 50 Cent more content to weaponize. As the feud expanded, so did the scope of the investigative narrative. Reports and exaggerated analyses floated that KingHarris was effectively running a mini-empire, with T.I. as the silent investor under siege. One anonymous tipster claimed, "King is building 3 separate ventures, streetwear, music, and digital media, and every dollar comes from Dad. It's a slow, stylish financial squeeze." Social media users ran with this, creating pie charts, photographs, and financial forecast memes that made the story feel both absurd and believable. Meanwhile, 50 Cent integrated promotional content into his trolling. A post promoting his upcoming Broadway revival cleverly mocked King and T.I. at the same time, captioning, "Invest in culture, not your dad's pockets." Every meme, every post, and every diss track now served triple duty: entertain, troll, and market. 50 Cent had mastered a digital age art, turning conflict into a spectacle that monetized attention while humiliating opponents. And the internet ate it up. Fans dissected every syllable, every Instagram caption, and every diss track. Reactions were polarized. Some defended King as a young entrepreneur, some condemned him as entitled, while others simply watched for entertainment. Within days, the story had transformed into a pop culture phenomenon, with every meme, every fake report, and every snippet of drama amplified by the viral content machine. Even the so-called investigative leaks started to read like dramatic fiction. One financial analyst on Twitter wrote, "If T.I. continues funding King's ventures without safeguards, it's only a matter of time before we see a Hollywood-style financial meltdown." Reality check. T.I.'s net worth and legal protections made this scenario absurd, but the drama was too delicious to resist. Social media didn't care about facts, it cared about perception, outrage, and entertainment. By now, the feud had evolved into a layered battle, T.I. dropping diss tracks in old-school style, KingHarris defending his legacy with social media and music, and 50 Cent orchestrating chaos with surgical trolling precision. Every layer of public response fueled the next, creating a feedback loop of controversy, humor, and viral speculation. The narrative had escalated far beyond a single $100,000 investment. It was a full-blown digital age war for attention, perception, and cultural dominance. The beauty of 50 Cent's strategy lay in its simplicity and brutality. Find vulnerability, amplify it, and make the public part of the spectacle. T.I.'s IRS history, past lawsuits, and occasional financial missteps had existed quietly for years. But the moment KingHarris entered the frame, 50 Cent turned the lens outward, making every viewer complicit in the drama. Social media users weren't just consuming. They were participating in shaping the narrative. And here's the kicker. The $100,000 story wasn't really about the money. It was a smoke signal for a much larger narrative. Ty, the king of the South, being framed as financially unstable, vulnerable, and exposed to ridicule. Every meme, every diss track, every Instagram post was a brick in the digital edifice of this perception. It was manipulation, entertainment, and cultural commentary rolled into one, and the audience couldn't look away. It was clear that the public had been drawn into a meticulously staged spectacle. Perception had overtaken reality, every exaggerated report fueled debate, and every social media post became a catalyst for more drama. T.I., King, Tiny, and 50 Cent were no longer just individuals. They were characters in a live, unfolding soap opera that the internet was binge-watching 24/7. And just when you thought it couldn't get any crazier, we arrive at the next phase. Fallout, consequences, and the potential for legal, financial, and cultural chaos, how the feud could impact family dynamics, and why 50 Cent's trolling might be the most dangerous weapon in modern celebrity warfare. As the social media storm reached its peak, it became abundantly clear that this wasn't just another celebrity feud, it was a full-scale digital crisis with real-world implications. What started as a $100,000 investment discussion had transformed into a viral phenomenon questioning family loyalty, financial stewardship, and the very legacy of T.I., Atlanta's trap king. And at the center of it all, like a maestro of chaos, stood 50 Cent, orchestrating a symphony of public outrage with surgical precision. The fallout began almost immediately. Industry insiders, some semi-fictional, others vaguely credible, began whispering about potential legal complications. One source on a popular hip-hop forum claimed that KingHarris's investment requests could theoretically trigger a liquidity crisis if they continued unchecked. The narrative. T.I., despite his reported $30 million net worth, could be exposed to financial strain if his children's ventures were mismanaged. Social media amplified every rumor. Is the trap king bankrupting himself through his son's startups? Went viral on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok simultaneously. Fans and trolls alike jumped into the fray. Every comment thread, every reply, every TikTok duet became a battlefield. Some users painted King as the cunning young heir, the modern-day Wolf of Wall Street with a streetwear empire in one hand and music label contracts in the other. Others portrayed him as a spoiled kid, literally draining his father's bank account. Memes flew faster than press releases. One particularly viral clip showed KingHarris photoshopped as a tiny ATM dispensing cash while T.I. frantically tried to catch the flying bills. The humor was biting, the exaggeration relentless, and the public absolutely hooked. Meanwhile, 50 Cent escalated the trolling to a strategic masterclass in perception warfare. He didn't just post memes, he integrated promotional content, subtle jabs, and viral-ready material into every social media post. One Instagram upload promoting his Broadway revival, Joe Turner's Come and Gone, included a caption, "Invest in culture, not in your dad's pockets." The post was layered, promotion, trolling, and narrative shaping, all in one. Another tweet showcased Tiny Harris performing a decade-old track, the subtext clear. T.I.'s empire was built on history, while his son was supposedly siphoning present wealth. Every public reaction, from memes to news articles, fed directly back into 50 Cent's strategy, creating a self-perpetuating viral machine. The media joined the chaos with gusto. Headlines screamed with sensationalized rhetoric. T.I. bankrolled by his own son. 50 Cent exposes KingHarris $100,000 drain. Atlanta trap king humiliated in viral scandal. Even outlets that typically avoided hip-hop drama jumped in, their coverage mixing fact, exaggeration, and speculation. Social media users turned each article into fodder for further discussion and memes. The cycle of viral amplification was complete. Every exaggerated report, every leaked insider tip, every humorous take became part of the story. Anonymous sources, real, imagined, and everything in between, began claiming shocking details about KingHarris's ventures. a streetwear collaboration allegedly costing $50,000 per collection. A digital media startup projected to raise $200,000 in its next funding round. Music label management and small-scale TV or online content production. These leaks were never verified but added an air of credibility to 50 Cent's narrative that King was literally draining T.I.'s fortune. Online analysts and fan accounts turned the details into pseudo-infographics and financial reports, with charts showing T.I.'s funds supposedly plummeting, all while King's empire grew. It was absurd, but perception is reality when social media operates at this velocity. T.I. and KingHarris, in contrast, attempted to moderate the narrative. KingHarris gave interviews praising her son's entrepreneurial initiatives. They're building their future. They're learning to invest, not just spending money. T.I., meanwhile, continued his traditional response via music, dropping diss tracks and subtle jabs in studio recordings. But every statement, every clarification, fed 50 Cent's content machine, creating new angles for trolling, memes, and viral clips. The paradox was stark. Defending the family provided material for the public to laugh at or debate, fueling 50 Cent's strategy even further. The consequences weren't just social or cultural, they were potentially legal and financial. While there were no verified lawsuits or court filings initiated at the time, speculation ran wild. Analysts joked, could this be a tax issue? What if investments go wrong? Even though T.I.'s net worth and legal safeguards made actual financial disaster unlikely, social media dramatization convinced some followers that a Hollywood-style financial collapse was imminent. Meanwhile, public debate reached its peak intensity. TikTokers created parody skits showing T.I. checking his bank account while KingHarris laughed maniacally, investing his father's fortune. Instagram stories featured mock interviews with financial advisors explaining King's draining strategy. Even meme accounts with millions of followers began dissecting each post, tweet, and song lyric for evidence of financial sabotage. Every exaggerated scenario contributed to the cultural mythos of the feud. It became clear that 50 Cent's trolling wasn't just about humiliation. It was a masterclass in social engineering. He had identified T.I.'s vulnerabilities, past IRS debts, legal fees, investment history, and merged them with the viral potential of KingHarris's public persona. The result, a narrative that was entertaining, scandalous, and frighteningly believable for anyone watching from the sidelines. And while social media audiences engaged, so did pop culture commentators. Late-night hosts, celebrity gossip channels, and even online radio segments discussed the feud in depth. Opinions were divided. Some framed T.I. as the victim of a relentless trolling campaign, others argued that KingHarris was overstepping, and a smaller, but vocal, group praised 50 Cent for his unmatched attention to viral strategy. Every new episode, post, or diss track only escalated the stakes, and no one could predict the next move. Financially, the narrative of a father allegedly being drained by his son's ventures also sparked speculative analyses. Influencer financial commentators ran wild with calculations showing imaginary burn rates, projected losses, and hypothetical bankruptcy scenarios. The numbers were, of course, wildly exaggerated, but they provided dramatic legitimacy to a story that was already viral. Social media algorithms amplified these posts like wildfire, creating the illusion that T.I.'s empire was on the brink of collapse. Yet, at the core, the entire spectacle was about perception management. 50 Cent knew that viral content could outweigh actual reality. The $100,000 investment, IRS history, and King's business proposals were just props in a larger narrative of decline, drama, and digital age warfare. In the eyes of the public, T.I. had become a character in a live-action soap opera, and KingHarris was both the hero and the villain, depending on which meme you looked at. As the feud drew more attention, other artists and celebrities began to comment, further fueling the cycle. Some mocked the situation, others weighed in with expert opinions, and every celebrity interaction became a new vector for virality. The public frenzy had reached a meta level where every new post, whether by a Harris family member, 50 Cent, or even a fan, became part of the unfolding drama. And now, as we reach the dramatic conclusion of this saga, the questions linger. Will T.I. ever truly regain control of the narrative? Can KingHarris successfully build his empire without being permanently labeled the rich kid draining dad? How far will 50 Cent push this, blending trolling, promotion, and public spectacle into one unstoppable machine? Here's the reality. The feud has transcended music. It's a masterclass in modern celebrity warfare, where social media algorithms, viral content, and public perception dictate the story more than the facts ever could. The $100,000 story was never about the money. It was about control, narrative dominance, and cultural relevance. Every meme, every Instagram post, every diss track is a chess move in a game that the public is both watching and participating in. So, as we close this chapter, ask yourself, are you watching a family feud, a business lesson, or a digital age spectacle engineered by one of hip-hop's greatest tacticians? The answer might be all three. One thing is certain. The story isn't over, the drama will continue, and social media will be ready with popcorn in hand. And for you, the viewer, what do you think? Is KingHarris a budding entrepreneur navigating family legacy? Or a spoiled rich kid playing with daddy's money? Is T.I. truly vulnerable? Or is this just another lesson in 50 Cent's perception manipulation mastery? Drop your thoughts, reactions, and wild theories in the comments. Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Because in the world of viral hip-hop feuds, the next chapter could explode at any moment. As the dust from the social media explosion settled, it became clear that this was no ordinary celebrity feud. What started as a $100,000 investment pitch had morphed into a full-blown cultural phenomenon, putting T.I., KingHarris, Tiny Harris, and 50 Cent at the center of a viral circus that was part reality, part legend, and all chaos. Every post, every meme, every diss track became a thread in an ever-growing web of digital drama. The first ripple of real-world consequences hit almost immediately. Anonymous sources in the industry, some credible, some purely for entertainment, started hinting at possible financial and legal complications. One so-called insider, who we'll call Source Z, claimed, if King continues to push these six-figure investments, even with legitimate business plans, it could create internal tension in the family empire. T.I.'s assets, though substantial, are tied up in lawsuits, properties, and ventures. Cash flow isn't infinite. The caveat: there were no actual filings or lawsuits initiated. But in the age of social media, speculation is just as powerful as fact. Meanwhile, the public reaction reached levels never before seen in a hip-hop feud. TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter erupted simultaneously. Every clip of KingHarris pitching $100,000 became a meme template. One particularly viral post photoshopped King as a tiny, mischievous banker printing money while T.I. frantically tried to catch flying bills. Another showed 50 Cent as a puppet master, pulling strings labeled viral content and public outrage, with T.I. and King on stage as his unwitting marionettes. The exaggeration was cartoonish, the humor brutal, and the audience utterly hooked. And 50 Cent. He escalated with surgical precision. This wasn't random trolling, it was strategic social media warfare. One Instagram post promoting his Broadway revival, Joe Turner's Come and Gone, read, "Invest in culture, not in your dad's pockets." Another subtle jab featured Tiny Harris performing an old hit, implying that T.I.'s empire was reliant on past fame while his own children were draining the vault. Each post was layered, entertaining, provocative, and perfectly timed for virality. The media followed suit with sensational coverage. Every gossip outlet, from celebrity blogs to mainstream news channels, ran headlines like, "T.I. bankrolled by his own son." 50 Cent exposes KingHarris $100,000 drain on dad. Atlanta trap King humiliated in viral scandal. Even outlets that rarely cover hip-hop jumped in, adding legitimacy to the perception that T.I.'s financial empire was at risk. Social media amplified every article, turning speculation into a perceived fact. Anonymous leaked reports further fueled the frenzy. One claimed T.I.'s net worth fluctuated drastically due to family investments and legal fees. It went as far as suggesting, if KingHarris continues requesting six-figure investments, T.I.'s empire could collapse within months. Reality check. T.I.'s finances were far from unstable. Perception, however, had already won the battle. KingHarris was not silent. He struck back with diss tracks, Instagram clapbacks, and his own viral content. One track directly referenced 50 Cent's past controversies, including old shooting incidents and rumored personal failures. The bars were sharp, personal, and strategic, creating a digital chess match between father, son, and rap legend. Every response generated new viral material for memes, commentary, and analysis. Meanwhile, fan communities ran wild with speculation about King's ventures. A streetwear brand allegedly costing $50,000 per collection. A digital media startup projected to raise $200,000 in its next funding round. Music label management and small-scale online content production. These exaggerated reports gave the impression that KingHarris was actively draining T.I.'s wealth, feeding directly into 50 Cent's narrative. Online meme accounts and financial analysts posted charts and graphs showing imaginary declines in T.I.'s assets and rapid growth in King's ventures. The data was fabricated, but the drama was irresistible. Tiny Harris attempted to moderate the chaos with public statements. In interviews, she praised her sons. They're building their future. They're learning to invest, not just spending money. T.I. continued his traditional approach, responding via studio recordings and diss tracks. But every clarification, every attempt to control the narrative, fed 50 Cent's trolling engine, creating even more content for memes and public debate. The sheer scale of the fallout was unprecedented. Trending hashtags like #KingBankruptDaddy and #50CVSTI dominated social media. TikTokers parodied financial meetings where King oversaw T.I.'s budget, while Instagram influencers posted mock analyses of T.I.'s empire. Late-night hosts and online radio shows dissected the feud like breaking news. The story was no longer just a family argument, it was a cultural event, unfolding in real time with millions watching, sharing, and participating. Speculation extended beyond memes and music. Hypothetical scenarios circulated. Could T.I. face liquidity problems if family investments continued unchecked? What if King's ventures failed and publicized losses reflected poorly on T.I.? Could this drama inspire legal scrutiny, tax audits, or investor backlash? Again, reality was far less dramatic. T.I.'s finances were diversified, well-managed, and legally secure. But the illusion of crisis was enough to keep social media engaged and the feud trending. Every new post, tweet, or track added layers of complexity, feeding public curiosity and creating a self-perpetuating viral cycle. 50 Cent's manipulation of perception reached an apex. By intertwining memes, posts, and media coverage, he ensured that audiences weren't just observing, they were complicit. Every comment, reaction, and share reinforced the narrative of T.I. being financially drained by his own son. The $100,000 story was never really about money. It was about control, influence, and public storytelling. The feud also highlighted the generational clash within hip-hop, old-school music strategy versus digital-age content warfare. T.I.'s approach, diss tracks, bars, and studio releases, represented classic RapBeef tactics. 50 Cent's approach, strategic trolling, social media domination, and viral content engineering, represented the new era of entertainment. KingHarris, caught in the middle, became both participant and catalyst, his youthful presence amplifying the stakes. By now, public interest had reached a fever pitch. The feud became a case study in modern celebrity culture. Viral perception outweighing reality, meme-driven narratives shaping reputations, and social media algorithms acting as invisible referees of public opinion. Analysts, fans, and influencers dissected each detail. How much money King allegedly asked for, the timing of posts, and the strategic placement of memes. Every move was scrutinized, debated, and exaggerated. And now, as this saga moves toward an uncertain future, questions remain. Will T.I. regain control of the narrative? Can KingHarris build his ventures without being permanently labeled rich kid draining dad? How far will 50 Cent push this multi-layered trolling campaign? The answer is unpredictable. One thing is certain, this story has transcended music, family drama, and even social media. It is a masterclass in perception management, a cautionary tale for celebrity families, and a cultural spectacle that audiences cannot look away from. The $100,000 moment was never about the money. It was a spark that ignited a wildfire of entertainment, scandal, and viral obsession.